In this video, you're going to discover the best finance books for your financial success. Now, we all know and understand just how important reading is. It is probably the most undervalued and forgotten way to attain wealth and prosperity. Think about it. Most people would rather just watch sports or Netflix than sit down and read. This is a problem in today's society. Do yourself a favor, start reading about money and success habits. You will benefit greatly in the long run. I believe it was Warren Buffett that said, "The more you learn, the more you earn." And I truly believe it as well. If I hadn't taken the time to sit down and educate myself, gain some financial literacy and study the fundamentals, I think my results would not be as good as they are. So I decided to share the top 5 books on financial education, as well as a short overview of what you'll gain from each of them. Ready? Okay, so here's the list of my top 5 finance books. So, number 1, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book I think I read 7 years ago for the first time, and I can honestly say it changed my entire paradigm. In a way, I owe this book so much. The main point you will learn from Rich Dad is why the rich don't work for money, the difference between the poor, middle class, and the rich, how to distinguish between an asset from a perpetual liability, the importance of having sound financial education, and the value of self-educating yourselves and understand money and wealth, and so much more. This is a great book for those of you who are just starting out. I would suggest that you begin with Rich Dad, Poor Dad as a staple. Moving on to number 2, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. This all-time bestseller tells a biblical tale about principles of gaining and keeping one's wealth. Although it is quite simple, I think everyone should know the principles mentioned in this book, such as pay yourself first, how to avoid bad investments, the importance of paying off debts, saving and multiplying your money wisely, and so forth. This is a nice read and will be very beneficial for those of you who are on a quest for a better financial situation in life. Next, on number 3, we have another great read, which is The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. Now, I will admit that I do not agree with everything the author preaches for, but nevertheless, this book is valuable to read. Some of the principles in this book, which the author lists as baby steps, are setting up an emergency fund, using the snowball method to pay off your debts one by one until you're debt-free, and saving money for retirement. Unlike Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Dave Ramsey teaches you how to become and stay debt-free for life. He doesn't distinguish between good debt and bad debt. This is more of a conservative approach, as it doesn't use leverage. But in my view, when it comes to your personal household, this is a very sound advice. On number 4, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This all-time classic will teach you the importance of thinking and the effect it can have on your wealth. The lessons in this book are timeless and priceless, and this is an overall fun read in my opinion. Lastly, on number 5, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I love this book, and especially the priceless tips it entails. The author stresses the importance of having what he calls 5 wheels on the bus. Number 1, earned income. Number 2, passive income. Number 3, savings. Number 4, investments. And number 5, a simple lifestyle. Now this is valuable stuff right here. I absolutely believe this is the true formula to gain financial freedom. So these are my top 5 financial books. I will probably create more videos and go into detail on each of them in the future. In addition, there are some more great books that didn't make my list, such as The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley. I will also try to create videos about them and provide short summaries for my viewers. If you like this video, please comment, share, like, and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to ask me anything, feel free to drop me a line and leave your questions in the comment box below, and I will do my best to respond as quickly as possible. The links to purchase all of these books are in the description below. These are my affiliate links. I hope it's okay with you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks.